And there he is.
Hi, Mo.
Hello, Mitch. How are you?
Good, thanks. You can hear me okay?
I can hear you great. And I hope you can hear me and see me all right as well.
Excellent. Yes.
Perfect.
Nice to
Well,
be
I've
with
been
you.
waiting. I've been waiting to chat with you, and I thought no better place than in the Canfitpro community. So without further ado, if I may, I know people are here to listen and learn from you. So for those who haven't had the incredible opportunity to attend Dr. Abrams' sessions at Canfitpro over the years, you would know if you were in a session, they are most memorable for the way he brings together science, art, and technology. I will give you a bit of a brief introduction, and then we'll kick off with a couple questions to get to know you more and dive right into a very unique subject matter, which will be one of our featured panel discussions at our upcoming 30th anniversary Canfitpro Conference event. So, Dr. Mitchell Abrams is a Canadian radiologist, keynote speaker, and founder of Next Gen Health Limited. Through his encounter with a life-threatening illness, Dr. Mitch experienced the challenges of Western healthcare from the bottom up and the top down. His life mission now is to support a more holistic health model by exploring new perspectives on energy as it relates to mental health and resilience. Dr. Abrams is presenting one of our always very popular panels, and this panel is Men, Mental Health, and Positive Masculinity. It is an highly anticipated session along with our highly anticipated event. So without further ado, please welcome Dr. Mitchell Abrams. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks, Mo. Wonderful to be with you.
Oh, well, you're always following our conversations, and we appreciate you and the incredible experience and expertise you bring. I'd love to kick this off by you sharing a bit more of your journey and as it relates to your work today. And of course, do tell us about the experiences you've had working with Canfitpro.
Sure. Well, to share with you a little bit of my story, I would say it really begins in my first year of independent medical practice. I was diagnosed and found out I required open heart surgery. And this really, shifted my perspective from doctor to patient, and I got to experience medicine from a completely different side. And as I returned to work, and shortly after recovering, I was then appointed as the interim chief of our department at the hospital. So very quickly, I recognized that our model had some pretty severe gaps. And even more so, how we define health and wellness is so narrow in scope in our Western medical education model. And as I became the chief of the department, I also realized just how disconnected, how outdated our system for delivering health and wellness was. So this catapulted me in a new direction, and really, this kind of deep exploration in experiential and learning and research, looking at how other cultures approached health and wellness. And I became really fascinated with the approach that I found in India, where they understood health and wellness as a whole person perspective, mind, body, and what we would call spirit. And the spiritual sciences, I very quickly realized, is something that we do not approach, we don't get exposed to in our Western model of education. And it's truly a science, the science of mind, the science of connection. Even now in Western medicine, we are finally catching up and tuning in to many of the techniques and mindfulness, meditation, practices that has been described for thousands of years from, in the East. So this has really informed how, my approach to health and wellness, it's changed completely, radically changed my life as I began practicing and learning, more about how the science of consciousness, the science of mind affects not just our mental health and our emotional resilience, but it drastically affects our physical well-being and our overall health and wellness. So from all of these, from these experiences, I focus a lot on educating my colleagues. We have a curriculum that is accredited with the Royal College of Physician Surgeons Canada that basically describes energy, a new framework for understanding energy as it pertains to yourself as an energetic being, how to intelligently manage your energy, and how does your energy affect the energies of those around you. And this is this science. As Einstein said, everything is energy. And he further said that the future of medicine is medicine of frequencies. So by helping people understand and have a deeper perspective of energy, it completely reframes how they can see themselves and relationships to each other. So this is where self-care becomes a form of social activism when you start to look at the science. And again, it drastically changes the way that we have to approach medicine, health and wellness, and just how do we create resilience, in schools and in our models of community engagement. And what I really love is I've noticed, the trend that Canfitpro is really starting to look at brain health, recognizing that the physical body is just one element. Having a fit body, is a waste if we do not have a strong mind to complement it. So this moving towards kind of looking at the mind as a muscle, learning how to flex the mental muscle, learning how that, that mental component of your well-being is overlapping with your physical health, with your spiritual health, and also what is spiritual health? What is that sense of connection, which is a key tenet for health and wellness. So during the conference, this will be a big focus on how I approach, these conversations, that once we have a new perspective of understanding ourselves and relationships to each other, then we can take the next step to say, this is how we can tactically apply it in our lives and in our organizations.
Wonderful. I'm listening to this and I'm thinking, everyone needs to hear what you have as it's really a new medicine or a new health practice. And I loved what you said about self-care as a new social activism. I also heard here that self-care is also a form of leadership. If you're in a leadership role, and how your energy, when you said how your energy influences or affects others around you, I'm doing a check with myself thinking, ooh, maybe I need a checkup with Dr. Mitch, because I want to be able to make sure that how I'm feeling positively influences not only my own health, but the health of those I work with every day. It's both a incredible curiosity, but a responsibility I feel I have. So I'm going to be following up with you after this, because I want to perhaps ask you how you work with people. Maybe I could ask you about that. I'm curious if you could share with us briefly about, you specialize in holistic health models. Could you maybe explain a little bit more about what that is?
Sure. Well, just for clarity, my specialty in medicine is radiology. Mm-hmm. So this is a very unique field, a unique specialty in medicine, because we do not use prescription pads and we don't use scalpel blades. We use our understanding of the laws of physics, our understanding of energy and health and wellness, to essentially put people into a machine called an MRI or a CAT scan that can non-invasively dissect the human body like a loaf of bread, all without a scalpel blade. So when I'm looking at an MRI of someone's brain, I'm literally looking at their light, the vibrations of their molecules and the atoms of their being. Mm-hmm. Now, this perspective of science sounds like a very, esoteric, deep down that rabbit hole that may not sound relevant to your life. But the fact of the matter is, all of our technology is based on this perspective of quantum physics. The fact that we're having this conversation, that, your community is tuning in to this moment, this conversation, is all because we have this understanding that the world is really based on frequency and vibration. So even the human body is a vibration of energy. And when we begin to understand that perspective, we can slightly shift the way that we approach wellness so that we see ourselves as a whole being. There's the physical component, there's the emotional and mental component, there's the spiritual component. And this is the gold standard in Western medical science now. We call it the biopsychosocial model of care. It's a mouthful to basically say we're each part mind, body, and spirit, a sense of connection. So the approach to health, first and foremost, is to help people discover themselves again in this new frame, in this new perspective, and to show them and to share with them very specific practices, these mental push-ups where they can experience their energy at the deepest level. And the moment you do that, you begin to feel the true human nature of your own self and the sense of connection that we all have that's ubiquitous. It's always present. It's just a matter of, are we tuning into it in any given moment? So as a practitioner that believes that, it's not just about repairing the physical body, I believe that we have to begin addressing root causes of disease, and that can only come about through a framework of mind, body, and spiritual being. And then from there, how do we tactically apply it? How can we measure our coherence, our energy, not just individually, so that we can track our progress? Everybody loves to watch how they improve over time, but also how our heart rhythms begin to synchronize with others when we send compassion and kindness to ourselves and other people. And we can measure this. So as an organization, as a community, we have now a new metric, a whole new approach that we can begin addressing our own mental health and well-being, but also that of an organization and a community. So this is the approach that I like to take, because ultimately, the system right now is still based on the old paradigm, this biomedical perspective that basically says, Mo, you are made up of these little bits of marbles, and your bits are separate from my bits, and your bits is separate from the world that you're experiencing. This is based on Isaac Newton's, philosophy, but all of our technology, everything that we use in today is all based on quantum physics. So now we as a human species can begin to understand this, what does quantum physics mean to you? What does it mean to health and wellness individually and collectively? So I think this is, I'm so excited for the direction of wellness, the entire field, because this becomes a new conversation that not only can create healthier individuals and healthier communities, but it can also drastically address many of the political and socioeconomic issues that we're dealing with today. Because again, these were all created at a time when we thought we were separate from each other. And now it's like, wait a second, that actually is what's creating disease, when we are separated, isolated, the tearing of the social fabric, whereas it's being torn apart, we are getting, we're unfortunately, that's making us sick.
Yes, and that's quite evident with the statistics that we hear week, month, and year after year here in Canada and all over the world. Much change is required. I thank you for the work that you do, because you're truly chartering down into a new world, and you're bringing it to us in the fitness industry, amongst many other industries and organizations, corporately, otherwise. But thank you for your passion with Canfitpro, because we as the fitness industry and fitness professionals often feel left out of the healthcare, team and community. And we need to all be together and have all our energy and marbles moving together to create the change that's required. So thank you for what you do, because I know you're very busy, yet you always find time to be at Canfitpro Global. And it's been so great to work with you over the years. If you've never gone to one of Dr. Mitch's sessions, it's a must. And I'd love to dive into that quickly as we come to the conclusion of our live chat today. Dr. Mitch will be joined by others and together and talking about a collection of unique perspectives. The session that you will be a featured panelist is also a featured session. It's called Men, Mental Health, and Positive Masculinity. This is the first session of its kind offered in the 30 years that Canfitpro has been running its annual event. Without giving it away, could you perhaps give us a sneak peek about why fitness professionals, what you might be sharing, but more importantly, why should fitness professionals be in this session?
Great question. Well, first of all, I think it's excellent. I'm so excited and really happy to see this type of topic being addressed. And I believe that when we begin to reframe the conversation around energy and how that, that perspective shifts our understanding of ourselves, it begins to reframe just the whole conversation around masculinity and femininity, feminism, masculinism. And what we are now beginning to understand that, most perhaps men might feel that being vulnerable or connecting with emotions, working through emotions is a form of weakness. It might not, it doesn't fall within this bucket of masculinity. But truth be told, that the healing process really requires us to experience and learn how to be vulnerable with ourselves, with our experiences and our emotions. And when we learn how to lean in to these challenging moments, that degree of vulnerability is actually cultivating strength. That's what creates a strong mind. And that strong mind influences and creates stronger body. And this simple reframing helps men understand that we need to love every part of ourselves. What we might think of as masculine, what we see as feminine or other, all parts of ourselves have to be embraced, acknowledged, and feel a sense of connection with in order for us to emerge as a stronger person, as a more whole person. And these are the type of conversations that I'm looking forward to having at this panel. And before we go, there's something that you mentioned, Mo, that I think is really important that I like to just comment on. The healthcare model, unfortunately, and not to digress too much, but unfortunately is designed like a cup. And for many years now, this cup has been overflowing. It's not sustainable, okay? And with this new emerging science, we're beginning to learn how other individuals, like physical therapists, trainers, yogis, whatever is your bag, if you learn how to connect to yourself and you create that space for others, we now see that you are a practitioner of health. You drastically improve the health and well-being of other people around you. So this conversation reframes how we define and identify somebody as a practitioner of well-being. And I truly believe that, physical trainers can play a key role in health and wellness. But again, even more so when you learn about the science and the technology that's accessible to everybody, that we can measure coherence and measure our connectedness, we can play a key role in a new community health model that's as much local as it is global in scope. And this is where there's a paradigm shift in the way that we look and address well-being, because right now everyone's got the blinders on. If you're sitting at the executive table at a hospital, you're so stressed to figure out, how do I keep my doors open, and just for my own little backyard. But if COVID taught us anything, the backyard mentality doesn't exist anymore. We are a global community. We have to start thinking globally. We know how even the environment and politics, what we see in the news, affects our mental health, even in, particularly our young, generation. So I believe that there's a huge opportunity for trainers to become part of a model to deliver health and wellness that's boundless. It's not confined to the hospital. And in fact, I believe that this can create opportunities to build healthier healthcare models and systems, because you can lead by example. And I can tell you from sitting in as a department chief, real change in medicine, real change doesn't come from the top. Real change comes from the bottom up. And the more that we can educate, the more that we can disseminate knowledge and share this message with partners and like-minded organizations like Canfitpro, guaranteed the system will follow. Guaranteed.
Wow, you heard it here. My heart is just beating with anticipation and appreciation for what you've said. It's really why we are here at Canfitpro, and we need more leaders believing in the purpose that they have. And that's one reason we're inviting everyone to come together in Toronto for Canfitpro Global Conference and Trade Show, to learn together, to lift each other up, to feel each other's energy, and to build upon the energy of our community, and to really check back with ourselves. And as you said, tune in and tune up where we're at, and understand the role that we have to play in this new world of healthcare. And I'm just going to boldly say, and medicine, we're all part of it. And boy, oh boy, the world needs us more than ever before. So grateful to have you here. I cannot wait to see you in August. For those that are registered, congratulations. You are investing in yourself, your health, and your wealth. That is your career. And for those who haven't yet registered, please go to canfitpro.com/events 2023/global. You'll want to get registered today. You'll want to sign up for this featured panel. It is on Sunday morning, and it is called Men, Mental Health, and Positive Masculinity. And it'll be featuring Dr. Mitch Abrams and others. And we will look forward to seeing you all there. Thank you so much for the conversation today.
My pleasure.
Truly appreciate it.
My pleasure, Mo. Thank you. And I'm looking forward to seeing you and everybody at the conference. Can't
Absolutely. Wait. And let's all stay connected. Please give love to the live today. Leave your comments below. And if you'd like to follow up with Dr. Mitch, he'll be tagged in this as a collaborator. So do reach out. I'll be doing the same. Bye for now, everyone.